everybody. My name is Lisa. I'm going to be one of 5 student ambassadors today, sharing about our experiences with Rensselaer student activities. Going to wait a few more seconds just to get everyone logged on, and then I will start by sharing about myself, and then I'll pass it over to some of my other ambassadors. Awesome. So I'm going to get started. Feel free to put any of your questions in the chat throughout the process, but I'm going to first start by introducing myself and telling you about what I'm involved in on campus. So hopefully the slide will kind of give you my overview. But my name is Lisa. I am from Grafton, Massachusetts. Anybody else in Central Mass represent? I am a mechanical engineer. I am a rising senior, and I'm involved in a lot of different positions on campus. The first club that I really wanted to join ever since freshman year, it was like, that's the club I'm going to join, was Pep Band. So I played the flute. I played the flute in high school, and I wanted something that was fun and less like symphonic band orchestra-esque like I had in high school. So I wanted just to be able to play fun music and meet some new kids. So I joined the Pep Band, and it was a great experience. I was the manager my sophomore year, but now I'm back to just being a flute player. I'm also involved in student government. I'm the class of 2021 president. There are a few different branches of our student government, ways you can get involved. We have a Senate, we have a legislative branch, our e-board, we have our judicial board. So we have a lot of different options if you want to get involved and be a voice in our campus. I chose the kind of pretty traditional kind of high school student government-esque position. So the class councils are a part of our undergraduate council, and we plan events for our class, and we are just advocates for our class. So a lot of what I'm going to be doing this year are planning things like our class gift and our senior week events. So if you want to get involved in student government, lots of different ways to do that. I'm also in a leadership group called LEAP. It stands for Leadership Educators Advising Peers. It is a group where we basically facilitate team building activities for groups both on and off campus. So rather than kind of lecturing like, hey, these are all these soft skills, like good communication skills, we instead, have a group, maybe like a team or some sort of other club, do a team building activity, and then we talk about it afterwards. And so kind of what we believe in is, it's called experiential education, so learning by doing. And so part of that group, I facilitate those activities. And I think that's it. I don't think my slide came up, but if not,
Hi guys, I'm Stella. I am also a mechanical engineering major. I am the class of 2022, so I'm a rising junior. I'm from East Montpelier, Vermont, and it lists some activities I'm involved with, and I'll just tell you about those now. So I'm a SWE committee member, and if you guys don't know, SWE is the Society of Women Engineers. So it's a national society, but we also have a presence on campus, and basically what it is support for women in STEM, particularly engineers, to help us prepare for interviews, help us prepare for the workforce, to have different social activities so we can get to know other women engineers on campus. And it is open to everyone, not just women, but we do primarily focus on our position as women within a traditionally male-dominated field. So that is a really great thing for everyone to get involved with. get involved in, and you can get involved with it as soon as you step on campus. And there's just a ton of great events all the time that really help you meet people and make great connections. I'm also involved in Greek life, so I'm in one of the 4 sororities on campus, which is, again, a really great place to meet women, especially women in STEM, just because RPI has a lot of STEM majors. And that's really where I met lots of my friends and just really amazing people. It's definitely a little different than you might be expecting. I didn't think I would join Greek life ever in college, but it was such a great opportunity to meet really inspiring and smart and strong women. So I definitely encourage you guys to check that out when you come to RPI. I'm also a student worker at the CCPD, which is the Center for Career and Professional Development. So I basically, I'll run information sessions when different companies will come to RPI, like Google or Cisco or United Technologies. They come and they do maybe interview prep or just information sessions about what it's like to work there, and I'll kind of facilitate that and help whoever is coming from the company with whatever they need, help them set up their presentation. And then I also just help around the office. And then my first semester at RPI, I was involved with dance club, and dance club is kind of the more relaxed dance opportunity on campus. We also have a dance team, but it's really a great way if you just want to do drop-in classes and have more kind of casual experience. Obviously, we all study a lot, so I had kind of less time for dance than I used to in high school. So that was a way to kind of casually explore classes. And then there is a recital in the spring, but not in the fall. So fall is more casual, and you can drop into whatever classes you like. But that is all for me. I am going to pass it to Mia now.
Hello. Hi guys. Sorry my camera's not working, but you can see what I look like through my pictures. So, I'm from Queens, New York. I'm the class of 2023, and so I'm a rising sophomore in biomedical engineering. And some of the activities I'm involved with on campus are the Student Union e-board, where I'm also part of the club operations committee. So the e-board is really unique to RPI because we are one of the few universities across the United States that's actually student run, and the e-board is a perfect example of that. So every year we're given a budget, a huge budget of I think around like 8 million. It's made up of your student activity fees and also other fees um, collected by the union. So the e-board is in charge of actually distributing that across all the clubs on campus, all the activities that we get to fund. Like we're the ones funding it, we're the ones like approving of it. So it's a really unique experience, and it's definitely a lot of responsibility. I met a lot of amazing people through the e-board and the club ops committee. So there are about 3 committees under the e-board. So I'm part of the club ops committee, which is we focus on helping new clubs, and we focus on helping clubs sustain, their board, their leadership roles, and keep clubs running for years to come. And there's also the business operations committee, which is they kind of run the union and kind of make sure that everything is up to date and we have all the supplies that we need in the student union to satisfy the students, and also any repairs that need to be made. And I also was part of the elections commission briefly. I was kind of like a consultant last year. So this year I'm hoping I could be one of the reps on that commission. So what the elections commission do is that they primarily focus on they're part of the Senate, and they're in charge of kind of basically helping out with the election. So election GM week is huge on campus. Unfortunately, we missed it this semester, but they're in charge of coming up with making sure that every candidate has all their forms ready, and they're making sure of all the policies so that elections run smoothly throughout GM week. And I was also in the Air Rifle Club, which is pretty cool since we actually have an indoor shooting range down at the Armory in one of our buildings. So it is an air rifle club. The range used to be able to support actual, indoor shooting, but the ventilation is no longer available. So we switched to air rifles, which is honestly a lot safer. The person that's kind of like administering this club and in charge, he's actually a veteran, so he actually has experience with like shooting and everything like that. And you can also participate in competitions once you get better at it. So that was a really cool experience to have on campus. And I'm also involved in Greek life, as well as with the other girls. So that was a very good opportunity for me to meet more women across campus, and also just to engage in more like social activities, etc. So yeah.
Hi everyone. So my name is Kate and I am from Brooklyn, New York, and I'm a rising junior. My major is biomedical engineering, and I'll just be briefly talking about my activities. So obviously I'm an admissions ambassador. Well, we all are here today. We just, we obviously love the school and want to share um, our experiences and to prospective students. So I do that on campus, give tours and work in the office. And then kind of similar to some other people on the panel too, I'm involved in Greek life. I actually never really thought I would join a sorority like going to college, but it's a really unique experience here at RPI because I think it's definitely more academically focused, and it's definitely a very strong support system. And in no way or in no way, shape, or form like you're pressured into it. It's totally I think about 25% of the student population is in Greek life, so nobody's like forced into it. But I just decided to try it out, and I'm so happy I did because I've met amazing women, and also it really is a great support system to have. And on top of not only social opportunities, but also academic opportunities, networking opportunities. There's countless benefits of Greek life. I'm also a part. I do undergraduate research here on campus. I don't want to get too much into that because this is more about like clubs and activities, but I am a part of a lab team here, and that does consist of a lot of my time. But yeah, I do research in the biomedical engineering department. And probably one of the biggest commitments I have at the moment is Greek Life and Society of Women Engineers. I am on the e-boards of both organizations because they mean a lot to me, and they've like helped me so much, through my growth and experience at RPI. Society of Women Engineers, I joined the executive board right away. So I got to campus. I wanted to be a freshman rep. I wanted to get as involved as I can. But there's also so many ways you can just be a member. You can be a committee member. There's so many opportunities to get involved, and it's just a great way to meet other women studying STEM. And you don't necessarily have to be an engineer, like Stella said previously. You don't have to be an engineer to be a part of it, but it's definitely given me so many professional opportunities. Actually, last fall, I was able to go to a SWE national conference in California, and it was so awesome because there was like a huge career fair, and I got to meet so many people in SWE from other schools, and it just really showed like how big of an organization it is, and how cool it is to be a part of it. And also, I was more involved in dance my freshman year at RPI. So I started off joining the dance club, and similar to what Stella was saying, it's a little more lax, like more free. You kind of just like you can just take drop-in classes. So then I was very heavily involved in dance in high school, so I tried out for the dance team. The dance team is a little more rigorous, more time. It's treated like a club sport, which is really cool. You get to compete with other schools. You get to go to competitions. Unfortunately, I got injured, but I am still like considering coming back to the team. But it was super cool to be a part of this because they take competitions really seriously. It's another chance to meet more women on campus. Honestly, everything I'm a part of I probably know more women at RPI than men, and yes, we have a ratio, but it's not that noticeable. But honestly, everything I'm a part of is all women, which is great. But yeah, dance has been super cool to be involved in. And yeah, that's for the most part what I'm involved in. It's definitely, I think my tips is just to get involved as soon as you come to campus because you get to meet so many amazing people, so many different mindsets. And yeah, I'm gonna pass it on to Kara.
Hi, everybody. My name is Kara. I'm a rising senior in the class of 2021. I'm studying biochemistry and biophysics. I'm planning to do the co-term program, so I will graduate with my master's in December of 2021. And I'm from New London, New Hampshire. My primary activity, the one I'm most involved in, is my a cappella group, the Rensselaerics. We're RPI's purplest a cappella group. I have been involved in the leadership of that group. We perform at a whole bunch of different events on and off campus. We compete in national and local competitions. We've competed in the ICCAs before, and we host a big invitational every semester. So it's offered a lot of really great leadership experience for me. I've been president for 2 semesters in a row now. I've been manager of external affairs. I've gotten a lot of experience, planning events and communicating with other organizations to coordinate various different events that we have hosted. I'm also involved in undergraduate research. I do research with a professor in the cognitive science department and a professor in the arts department. We study well-being tools that are used by college students to maintain their well-being and to, kind of prevent stress levels from getting too high. I'm also involved in Greek life. My sorority, Alpha Omega Epsilon, is a social and professional sorority specifically for women in STEM. We are open to all majors on campus, but we are geared towards women in STEM. We provide both the professional opportunities. We do a lot of events with the Society of Women Engineers and other professional organizations on campus. But we also have a really strong social support network. We have a great network of alumni who can help you find jobs and things like that. So it's a really great support network for women in STEM. I'm also involved in Pep Band, which Lisa talked about earlier, and I'm an admissions ambassador. So I think we're going to do questions now.
All right. So we're just going to wait a second for everybody to come back on. Okay. So that's a little bit all of us. We have some questions on our slides that we're going to answer, and then we've already had a few coming in on the chat that will be answered. So like I said earlier, you feel free the questions you have about student activities. But our first question is, how do you find the time to balance social life and studying? Does anybody want to answer that?
I can try and answer that.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So I don't know if everybody's like me, but when I was in high school, I was in 20 different clubs. So that's not really something that you can feasibly do super well in college. So the biggest thing for balancing your social life and your activities and whatever with college is pick a couple things and commit to them. And all of the clubs on campus, we all know that academic work comes first. So if you ever need to take time to say, hey, I can't go to a meeting tonight, I have to study for this test, everybody's going to be understanding. We're all in really rigorous programs. So definitely, if you know that you need extra time to study, don't be afraid to ask for that extra time. And activities are a really great way to get a support network. So that's also, you can reach out to people in your clubs and activities for help with any of your academics, as well as all the other support through professors and TAs and things like that.
Yeah, I think that was really well put.
Yeah, I also want to add on, like with more time, you just learn more time management skills. And I think as you go on, like right now being a junior, well, basically being a junior because I'm in the arts program right now. So taking like my first semester of my junior year. Um, by this point, I've kind of figured out my activities and clubs that I'm going to dedicate my time to. In the beginning, it's like you're kind of just figuring out what you like, and you have the activities fair. You're like signing up for a bunch of things. You're going to a bunch of meetings, and like I was part of like the Slavic club, like there was like a cheese club. I don't know. I'm still signed up for an archery club. Like I still get the emails, but I feel like everyone at RPI kind of experiences like that beginning of freshman year, like where you're just trying things out. And then by the time like, second semester freshman year or like sophomore, for some people it comes later because it just depends on like how you manage your time and if you choose to like prioritize like your schoolwork. Well, I don't want to mean it like that, but like if you're struggling with your schoolwork and you just don't have time for other activities, then some people choose to do that. But I feel like by the time you're a sophomore, you kind of figure out like what you're like where you want to spend like most of your time, and it's really important to not be like involved in too much because that can do more harm than good.
So for me, I just finished up my first year of college, and it was definitely a struggle trying to find balance between social life and studying. I think everyone has a process that they go through to kind of like find that. You're definitely going to struggle no matter what, but eventually you'll get there. And I found really helpful that I was also involved with a lot of things in high school. So I actually had to kind of, take a step back and kind of focusing on just kind of one thing. That's why I kind of only focused on mostly like e-board for my first semester of college. And then starting second semester, I sort of felt like I got the hand, like I got the hang of kind of balancing like the both sides. So then I decided to kind of add a little more things to my plate. I think being honest with yourself is really important. First semester, definitely, it's okay to take it a little easy on the social life and kind of focusing more on getting used to the environment and studying. I definitely feel like it just depends on everyone, and definitely second semester for me was I added a lot more to my plate.
Awesome. Our next question is, do you think RPI does a good job of encouraging both a vibrant student life and preparation for internships and jobs? Has anyone had like an internship or a co-op? They can kind of answer that question. I have, so I can go. So I, as a rising senior, participated in the summer arts program last year. So I had my fall semester away this past fall. So I think that RPI does do a good job of encouraging both the student life aspect and the preparation for your world beyond. We have a lot of kind of intermingling between the two. RPI will have like specific events for developing your career and also specific things for like student activities, but we also have a lot of organizations that are both a fun club but also some sort of professional aspect, kind of like Society of Women Engineers, or we have business clubs and professional organizations. So there is a great mixture that RPI kind of cultivates to be able to kind of prep you for the world after. And I also think that just in any experience outside of the classroom, when you especially have a leadership position within a club, you're gaining real life experience, whether it's not necessarily something where you're actually in a full-time engineering job or something like that, but you still gain more experience with time management. You get experience with just communicating to your peers and planning and kind of the behind the scenes of that. So I would say yes.
And I also want to add that for the most part, I think it's pretty common for RPI students to be involved in, something like a professional organization like the Society of Women Engineers, Women in Business, or like a volunteer organization like Engineer Without Borders. And in addition, something that they're passionate about, or that will give them like a little more like social opportunities. So if you're like into music, singing, dance, etc., a club, you can engage in that too. So it's like, I think the best way to take advantage of all the clubs and activities we offer here is, find something that will support you professionally, and then find something that you like want to try out, or might be like out of your comfort zone, or something you've been passionate about since high school, and like continue to do that.
Yeah. Does anyone have anything to add? Or okay. So how have student activities changed since COVID-19? I'm in a club that's still operating, but if anyone wants to talk about their experience first, go right ahead.
I can add two organizations that I'm a part of. They're still functioning and trying, and even last semester they were still trying to offer like events, and so like Greek Life, my sorority, Pi Beta Phi, we still try to have get-togethers over Zoom meetings, and like we still try to stay connected virtually. And Society of Women Engineers, actually, I think Stella can also speak on this, because we're both part of the Arts Committee, which we still have virtual programming for the Arts semester. So since Arts is an online semester, we still Society of Women Engineers is still offering virtual programming. So both professional and social opportunities. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that the clubs are doing whatever they can to still be active. I know that my LEAP organization actually moved all of our interviewing process to online, so that way we could still get our new members in, and we're doing trainings over the summer now. I think that for some organizations like Pep Band, it's kind of hard to make that socially distanced, just because of how the nature of the organization. But for any club that can, they definitely are doing the best that they can to just think creatively and get around the challenge of socially distanced in the pandemic.
Just to add on, there definitely are like some clubs that have been struggling. Like my a cappella group, it's pretty much impossible to hold like rehearsals over a Zoom meeting because of lag and all that. So some of us have had to change how some of the clubs have really had to change how we interact with each other. We've been more active on our social media. We're working on putting together like a compilation video of everybody recording themselves and editing that into a YouTube video. We've released a Spotify single that we've been sitting on for a little while. So it's definitely changed more for some clubs than for other clubs. But everybody's trying to do the best they can with what we have.
Exactly. Somebody has a question about Society Women Engineers. What programming do you guys do?
Sorry, I feel like I'm talking a lot, but just because like as I've said, like Society of Women Engineers, it's like one of it's probably my biggest time commitment. It's what I've been most involved in since like my freshman year. There's things, so there's we have both professional events, social events, and we also, in addition, we actually started doing more advocacy events last year. So professional events, we have networking sessions, companies come in, they give talk. We have a resume book, people submit their resumes, they get sent out to companies. So many opportunities there. We have events, we have professional events like twice a month pretty much. And then social events, we have, fun things like cookie decorating in the fall. We go apple picking, like a bunch of, fun things to do with everyone. And it's really cool advocacy events. So last year we we started doing more things like microaggressions in the workplace for women. How does race affect race and gender? All of these pressing issues we discuss, and we hold these conversations. So it's really a variety of things and of things that we do at SWE. So it's definitely a cool organization to be a part of.
Do you have anything to add, Stella, or was it kind of already?
I think she totally covered it. Also, there's just I wanted to say with COVID-19, like we've done some really fun stuff, and we just did like a test run of like playing games online together, and it was so much fun. So even with that, I think we have like really just stayed a really strong organization. And also, it has made us be a little more creative, which I think has kind of made some fun opportunities. So, both on campus and with like online school, it's just a really great balance of like preparing you for the future and keeping things light and fun and reminding you to like enjoy yourself and make friends.
Awesome.
I'm not currently involved with SWE, but my freshman year I was involved in the outreach committee, which is a really cool committee that does a lot of programs with like local Girl Scout troops, local like elementary school and middle schools. So if that's something you're interested in, the SWE outreach committee is great as well.
Very cool. Well, thank you guys for your answers. Our last kind of one on the slide here is, do you find that RPI students are involved in a lot of different clubs and organizations or just a handful? Mia, do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. So definitely I see all kinds of, people involved in all kinds of different clubs. So every time someone asks me about clubs across campus, I always say that there's always something for just anybody. Kind of, you literally anything that you want, you can find, and that's what I definitely learned, being a rep on the e-board and seeing so many clubs and like, kind of understanding what they do, and everything like that. And definitely, like, if you see something that we don't have, don't be afraid to kind of reach out and start it yourself. We have committees and we have resources available for you to like start your own chapter or start your own club. And I definitely see a lot of people from different organizations across campus, even being on just kind of student government or like sitting in the lounge of the student government suite. I just kind of meet all different kinds of people who tell me different experiences about, their clubs. And it's just really interesting to kind of get to know like so many different clubs. Like I'm pretty sure I can't name all of them. And there's definitely a lot of people involved in, various like things.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. We have like over 200 clubs, so there's definitely lots of opportunities to get involved. I would say that I'm in like 3 huge time commitments with the 3 organizations that I'm in, especially because I've taken up leadership positions in them. And I think I've pretty much maxed myself out at that. I rarely have free time just because I love taking up my free time with those activities. So I would be very hesitant to say that more than probably 4 activities can be done while giving it like a good amount of your time. So I would say that somewhere in between like the 1 to 3 range is probably where most people sit, if I had to guess. I think it all depends on how much you want to give to an organization. Like, especially I've heard a lot for Greek life, even though I'm not a part of it. The big thing that I heard was like, you get out what you put in. And so, it's definitely a lot of give and take. And, how much time do I want to spend for academics? How much time do I want just free time to relax? And then how much do I want to be involved outside of that?
I think it also matters if you're on a team or if you're in club sports or anything with high levels of like time commitment. Obviously, like if you're on a varsity team, it's definitely like more difficult for you to, kind of spread your time out to do your studies, make your practices on time, and also like a lot of other clubs. So it all depends on like the person. and what they prioritize, obviously.
Yeah, definitely an individual basis. All right, I think we've finished our slide now. We'll start heading to our chat. We had two right at the beginning about just RPI housing that we can just get out of the way pretty quickly. Is RPI a semester or quarterly school? We are a semesterly school. I think each of our semesters are about 15, 16 weeks long. And then is the pricing for dorms yearly, semesterly, or quarterly? I believe it's also semesterly. But I think more information, if you just Google RPI housing, you'll probably get more information about that. John asks, how often do most clubs meet?
It depends on the club. Like some clubs have like weekly meetings. Some clubs, meet like every 2 weeks. For like the Society of Women Engineers, the meetings are we don't actually have meetings. They're just events that we put on. But like for Greek life, we have like chapter meetings. That's like weekly. But then there's also like other events and stuff. But every club just has like you basically find out we have like an activities fair in the beginning. So like when you come and as a freshman, kind of like your NRB freshman experience, your first week there's like a big activities fair, a club fair, and every club will kind of like have their like schedule out for you, and you'll but for the most part, if people can add on, like maybe some clubs do meet like every week.
Usually from what I've noticed, usually smaller clubs are kind of like on a weekly basis. I know like Outing Club, they have events pretty much every weekend where they actually like go out and go hiking or any events like that. And then bigger organizations tend to kind of have general body meetings, which is kind of once a month. And sometimes like weekly if you're talking about like Greek life organizations. And so and also I guess tying into John's like following question about like adjusting schedules. So a lot of clubs, what they tend to do is that they'll put out like a when is best kind of thing. So just to kind of check like in general, like when is everybody good for like a specific time within the week, if they do tend to do like weekly meetings. So I guess like so in the beginning of the semester they'll probably do that, and just to kind of set a time where most people can actually make it.
The other thing is, if you're in a club like a performing group or like a sports team or something, you will probably meet more than once a week. Like my a cappella group rehearses 3 times a week. I know varsity sports teams practice pretty much like every day. So it does depend a lot on what your your organization's goals are and how you best accomplish them.
Yeah, I think that's pretty well put. It definitely depends on the organization. The next question is from Wendy. How much of a time commitment is there for the Pep Band? It's directed at me and Kara. Awesome. I think that Pep Band is very fluid. Obviously, when I was manager, it was like I have to go to everything because I'm the one leading the group. But it's definitely just whatever you want to participate in is what you get to do. It's not really a requirement to attend anything. We have rehearsals. We have like different sports games that we play at. We'll play at football. We'll play at men's ice hockey and women's ice hockey. So it's a very lax time commitment, but if you do want to do something a little bit more, like we have road trips, we can only invite a certain amount of people. That's when, if you wanted to be very involved, that's kind of, you'd have to be a little bit more committed to the group to be able to be invited on those types of trips.
Yeah, the flexibility is one of the things I like best about Pep Band, honestly, because I'm very busy. I have a lot of other organizations that I tend to prioritize because I have leadership roles in them. So sometimes I can only go once a week, sometimes I can only go once a month, and I'm not penalized for that. It's show up, play when you can, and it's a lot of fun regardless if you're going to every event or just a couple.
Exactly. The next question is from Jonathan. He asks, is there an Fbla chapter on campus? I looked this up because I'm not sure what it was. It's a business organization, and I think it's like one of the largest student college organizations like in the country. I don't think we have one unless you guys are familiar.
Yeah, we don't have one, but don't be afraid to come on campus and start your own chapter.
Exactly. And I think, Mia, do you know anything, you may or may not, do you know about any other business-oriented clubs that we have on campus?
Business oriented, I believe there's a couple. I know that we have SWE, SWE, and we also have one for there's a lot of like culture based like business associations. I believe there's a couple others. Like they're also like pretty large, like connected to the national like base. And there's also Greek Life, which helps a lot with the business side too.
Yeah, I think we have a
We
few.
also have one of the other ambassadors is in Women in Business, which she talks about a fair amount. And then we also have, I think it's called the Severino Center, which is a center that promotes entrepreneurship and like startups and helps RPI students, get businesses off the ground. So if you're interested in like starting your own company right out of RPI, there's resources to help you with that as well.
Yeah, if you search, I just Googled RPI business clubs, and the first link that pops up kind of has like all of our business related clubs. We also have like a few honor societies, and I think the Severino Center's on there too. So even though we don't have FBLA, we definitely have a few other business options. All right, next question. What would each of you say is the best thing about going to RPI? That's tough.
I can start off. I think the best thing about going to RPI is just the sense of community I have on campus. Like I really feel like through my clubs and organizations that I'm a part of, I've met so many people, and because it's like a medium-sized school, like it's nice to be able to like walk around campus and like see the friendly faces that I've like met through all these clubs that I'm a part of, and then also just like everyone is super supportive going into just like academics, like talking about the academic side of it, like anyone will be there to help you, whether it's your fellow friends, students in your classes, TAs, professors. The faculty is just amazing. So I think just in general, it just feels like a community on campus for me.
Yeah, to add on to that, even in the academic side, the student community is very collaborative, in part because RPI professors generally don't grade on the sort of curve where they say, the top 10% of students get an A and the next 20% get a B. It's very much you're graded on your own merit. So that really encourages a very collaborative environment with students, like, helping a friend in class with their homework is not going to actively be a detriment to you. It's encouraged. It's a great thing to do. And it can help you both do better in the class. So it's really a very collaborative environment, both in activities and in academics, which is something that is surprisingly not found at every other school. So that was one of the things that I liked best about RPI was when I was a prospective student.
I can go. I definitely agree with the collaboration. Like, I feel like that's really unusual for tech school. They tend to be really competitive. So that's just one of the absolute best parts of RPI. But I think if I had to pick and say the best thing, I would say that we have a really great balance between being a big and small school. So in the ways, we're small in the ways that people are really friendly. We help each other. You can have a relationship with your professor, relationship with your TAs. I feel like there's a lot of resources. It's really easy to get help. There's really a community that you tend to find at smaller schools that has big school resources. It has the connections with employers, connections with really, really great companies, a lot of resources for students to use that kind of comes with being a bigger, more well-known school. So it has just a great balance between the two. And I think that balance just creates like the best environment for students. And that was just a huge reason that I decided to come to RPI.
My favorite part is definitely, I mean, it sounds like a generic answer, but it's definitely the people. Because I feel like, even though like everyone on campus is honestly super smart, and they're all brilliant in their own ways, and definitely academics is tough, but it's not really competitive. It's more of we all kind of look out for each other. If you kind of need help with academics, like if you need extra tutoring or support, like you always will have someone that's able to help you. Like the amount of times I've been kind of like sitting at the library or in the union, like stressed about like one of my works and kind of reaching out to like a stranger to help me out or stuff like that. Like they're always like kind of willing to do that, which is like pretty cool. And people always like look out for each other in terms of safety too. So I think that's really good. Like even as kind of walking back from the union or walking back from the library, I always kind of have friends who kind of look out for me and either will walk me back to my dorm or kind of tell me that, hey, like if you need anything, just call and stuff like that. So to me, like that makes me feel like I'm safe on campus and I'm being supported by, just in general, the student body and the student community.
Yeah, I think one of the largest parts of why I chose RPI was the community, but I know everybody's talked about that. So after being on campus, I can say that one of the best things about our school, I think, is the opportunities we have. We have so many opportunities just to get involved on campus, kind of, what this webinar is about, all of our student activities. We also have plenty of opportunities to network with companies. We have 2 career fairs every year. We have information sessions that companies will come to our campus and give, like, recruiting RPI students. We have a whole like website called JobLink that's dedicated to companies posting job listings just for RPI students because they know the level of education we get, and they're specifically looking for students like us. We also have opportunities just in a general sense, like location wise. We're really close, like an hour away from Lake George, and pretty close to like the Adirondack Mountains if you want to hike. But then we're also maybe like 2 hours away from New York City, 3 from Boston, 4 from Canada. So I think also just the location of our school, it also just provides so many opportunities to have more experiences and more freedom than you might get, after you graduate. But thank you for the question, Megan. Our next question is from John. He asks, do clubs adjust their schedules to work with sports and other club schedules so that they're less likely to overlap? I think Kate could answer this one. She's on the dance team, maybe?
So I don't think like it's not necessarily like I've like heard of not heard, oh my god, I cannot speak. Like the Society of Women Engineers, I know the vice president of the Society of Women Engineers, they like coordinate with other vice presidents of other professional organizations to make sure like they're not having events on the same day. But also it's something like technical with like if you want to have events, like you book rooms we have like a portal on through the union where you can like book rooms for whatever event you want to have. So it'll kind of like say when a club is having an event. So not too many like events will be happening at the same time, because just also like there's a lot of like main rooms that clubs use. Like for example, in the student union, we have a room called Mothers, which is really popular for like a lot of clubs to use for their events. So not a lot of things will be happening at the same time just because like the room is being used. And but it's different with sports because like, again, if you're like on a varsity sport, even club sport, there will be club meetings and events going on at the same time. And that's just, it's just something like you have to work out with your own schedule. The clubs can't really like coordinate with you on that.
Yeah, I think that for the most part, clubs won't cater to a sports player, but professors will to a certain extent. I think a lot of times, like if you're a varsity sport player and you have an away game this weekend and you're going to miss lecture, professors are more than willing to, either meet with you another time to catch up on material or reschedule an exam or something like that. But I think for the most part, clubs are kind of on your own unless you're an e-board member and you physically can't do both things.
I know that varsity members, they tend to have priority in scheduling. So I guess that would help a little bit if you want to, let's say, like attend more clubs and stuff like that. So you would get to kind of schedule your academic schedule around your kind of practices and your times. And I also mentioned before that a lot of clubs do kind of have a when is good. So make sure you fill that out, and they'll try to, I guess, accommodate to having more people be able to attend their meetings, and yeah.
I
The
also
other thing
think
I want to say is we have over 200 student organizations on campus. It's impossible to completely schedule around everybody. So there is inevitably going to be some clashing. And, obviously smaller organizations have more flexibility to adjust their schedules than really big organizations with over like 50 people or whatever. But all organizations will obviously schedule around classes. So most events will happen in the evening, like after 8 p.m., so that you never have to miss class for a club of activity and you never have to miss a club activity for class.
Yeah, kind of similar to that. I was just going to say that a lot of clubs tend to choose like uncommon times, like 4 p.m. or 6 p.m. on a Sunday, like times that they expect most people to be free no matter what your activities are. They're kind of like common down times among RPI students, and they tend to go for those. So I wouldn't be too worried about getting involved if you're also playing sports.
Awesome. The next question is from Joseph. He asks, what clubs are most popular with students with a computer science major? I know one club, it's actually a Senate committee called WebTech. It's a branch of Senate or a committee of Senate. You don't have to be a Senate member to be involved. Any student can be involved, and they work on different kind of projects that benefit the student campus. So WebTech this past semester, I believe, or maybe last fall, they developed a shuttle tracker, or a new addition to it, I should say. So we have shuttles that go all around our campus. Any RPI student can get into them for free. They run all the time, but different shuttles go in different areas of our campus. So they have developed a tracking system where you can look on your phone and see when the next shuttle is coming to take you back to where you want to go. So I know that branch of student government does some sort of computer science related club. I don't know. Do you guys know any of the other clubs?
I know of Hack RPI, which is pretty cool since they host an annual hackathon which is pretty like huge, and a lot of like businesses kind of donate to that and participate in that too. We also definitely have a computer science club, and there's also, I guess you could say, like career opportunities within the school. You can apply to be a sysadmin, which you're kind of in charge with designing the website for the union and kind of maintaining like that system, and also whatever they might need help with, I guess, within the student union. So there are definitely a lot of clubs and opportunities you can have with a comp sci major.
Sweet. Hopefully that answered Joe's question. We have a quick question not related to activities. Are nut-free food options available for people with nut allergies? Does anyone have a food allergy? educator. Well, I can answer this question really quickly. Yes, we are accommodating for all people with food allergies. Each of our dining halls has, or at least the two main ones have sections dedicated to those with food allergies. One of my friends has a gluten allergy, so I kind of have somewhat of an experience with it. Our Commons dining hall has a whole room dedicated to people with food allergies. Like they prepare a whole separate sets of meals. They have microwaves, plates, silverware. All of that is separate than the rest of the silverware that the entire dining hall uses. They have their own set to make sure that it's properly cleaned and making sure that they can cater to every single allergy you may have. So I think we do a pretty good job catering to people with food allergies. Next question is, what extracurricular activities would you recommend I do as an undergraduate in order to be successful in clubs that are provided by RPI?
I can start off on that, if that's okay.
Mhm.
So, for me, like in high school, I was pretty much occupied by varsity sport because I was captain of the track team, and so I wasn't really able to kind of explore my the other clubs or organizations my high school had to offer. So what I did coming into RPI was I wanted to pick something that I definitely didn't have the opportunity to do back in high school, and kind of expand on something new. So that's what I would recommend because I really wanted to do student government back in high school, but I didn't have enough really time or effort to kind of do it. So coming into college, I kind of had the mentality of like, let me just try something new and see if I could get anything out of it or like see what the new experience would be like. It was the same thing with air rifle shooting and definitely the same thing with Greek life. It was kind of picking something that you probably normally wouldn't do at like a couple years ago and kind of see if you could get something out of it, get an experience out of it. So that's what I would recommend.
I would also recommend you want to pick an activity that isn't going to be another source of stress for you, because academics at RPI can be stressful at times. So you want to pick an activity that can be a sort of stress relief for you. So if you really enjoy like playing flute or playing some kind of instrument, join Pep Band or orchestra or something like that. And that can help you it can be a relaxing thing for you when you're really stressed out. Or if you really like video games, join a video game club. Just you want to find something that is going to enhance your RPI experience and not just be an additional source of stress and really stress you out, because you can get enough of that from your challenging classes.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. We've got 2 minutes left. We have 3 questions. I think we should do a quick lightning round here. We have a question about if the connection is bad during online learning session. I would say that obviously all the professors understand that not everyone has a great connection. If that's the case, you shoot them an email. If you can't attend a live lecture, most of them record it so you can watch it offline or not live at least. So we definitely have lots of ways to work around that. Technology is not perfect, so I wouldn't be worried about not having the greatest connection. I don't even have the greatest connection right now. Engineers Without Borders, what kind of projects you do? We have a local project in Troy that we do. I joined freshman year for a bit. Local project in Troy. We also had a Panama project going, and I think maybe one more. They were recently talking about like water sustainability and how to collect like rainwater off of roofs in order to like repurpose it rather than waste it. But definitely check out their social media because they'll probably have a lot more updates. And then our last question is experiences in Greek life, events. What are the highlights? So maybe we just go down the line. I'm not in Greek life, so the rest of you guys can kind of share a fun memory, and then we'll head out.
Some of the highlights are probably like collabing with other Greek organizations. Like we have a lot of like joint events and stuff. Whether my most favorite ones are probably the philanthropy events because not only do we raise so much money, but it's just awesome, like everyone coming together to support such a great cause. And then we also have like fun things like formals and stuff. And yeah, I don't want to take time from other people. So those are probably my favorite things.
I can go. So kind of similar, but formal is definitely a highlight. It's kind of like really fun to get dressed up and do something really just like fun like that because we're always studying. Um, and definitely our charity events are so much fun, and you also feel like you're making a difference, but we make them like really enjoyable. Um, I think recruitment is really fun. Kind of being on the other side of it and getting just to talk to people about your experiences, and you get to meet so many people because everyone kind of comes through each house when they are rushing. Um, and also just throughout the year, just having people to talk to, spending time together, enjoying each other's company, eating good food together, and just generally having like such a great group of people to laugh with and cry with and study with and be crazy with, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
For me, it's definitely have to be bid day because the entire kind of weekend for recruitment was pretty stressful. So then bid day was really nice, having like dinner with the sisters that you're finally with, and that was really memorable for me, like kind of joining a new community. Yeah.
Awesome. I love how everybody has had very unique experiences, but they're all so positive. But thank you guys all for joining us. Hopefully we answered most of your student activities questions. If you look at the chat, Ariana did a little summary for us down below. If you have any questions for regular admissions, just email admissions@rpi.edu. If you want to ask questions to specific students, we have our own ambassador email that's also in her chat. And if you want a copy of the webinar, you can email her directly. But thank you so much for joining us today. We got lots more webinars coming up, so definitely check out our Instagram page at RPI Admissions, and we hope to see you guys soon.